All right, welcome back to the channel. So, in this video, we're going to talk about Jermall Charlo and his refusal to fight Demetrius Andrade. His trainer, Ronnie Shields, talked about it in a recent interview and said that Booboo Andrade has made a mistake that he will be paying for the rest of his life. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Before I get into the video though, please make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Share the video, like the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So let's get into this. Jermell Charlo is a champion at 160 pounds and the WBC champion at 160 pounds. And Demetrius Andrade is the WBO champion at 160 pounds. They're both American fighters. One fighter is a guy that is kind of like a boxer puncher. The other one is a boxer. It's a fight that I hear about when I do my live streams and I ask people, what fights do you really want to see in boxing? It's a surprising number of people that say Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andrade. And probably at 160 pounds right now, Jermall Charlo versus Demetrius Andrade is one of the bigger fights that can be made for American boxing, and one that honestly, there's some pretty, petty reasons for it not happening. So Ronnie Shields, who's a trainer of Jermall Charlo, was asked if he saw Demetrius Andrade getting a fight with Jermall Charlo, and Ronnie Shields was basically like, no, never gonna happen. He's made a mistake that he can't get back from, and this is what the mistake was. Back in several years ago, when Jermell, who was the brother of Jermall, was at 154 pounds, he was challenging for a title that was held by Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade, if you listen to both sides of this story, I'll tell both sides of the story, was offered $250,000 for the fight, but he thought that wasn't enough money, but he agreed to the fight, hoping that he would be able to renegotiate himself into more money for the fight. But so $250,000 wasn't enough. Now that's not the story that Jermell Charlo and those guys focus on. They focus on the fact that Demetrius Andrade was being courted by Rock Nation. And Rock Nation, who was in boxing at the time, Rock Nation was a promoter at a point in time for Andre Ward, for Guillermo Rigondeaux. I don't know if they're doing anything really with boxing right now, but when they were really trying to get into boxing, they recruited Demetrius Andrade, and they told Demetrius Andrade that he would get as much money in a payment for signing with Rock Nation as he would have gotten for fighting Jermell Charlo, the $250,000. But when push came to shove, and so as a result of that, Demetrius Andrade verbally agreed to them that they would, with Rock Nation, he would sign with them, and he pulled out of the fight within a couple weeks of the fight supposed to have been taking place, and leaves Jermell Charlo hanging in the wind, and then eventually doesn't even get the deal with Rock Nation because he's sued by his original manager, because part of the deal was that he was going to leave his manager as well and sign with Rock Nation. So Rock Nation, when they were confronted with this, pulled out of it altogether. Demetrius Andrade doesn't get the $250,000. Jermell Charlo doesn't get his fight. He loses his career high payday, and he loses his first opportunity to get a fight. Now, if that is something that could really tick somebody off, and I always said I understand why Jermall and Jermell, who are twin brothers, wouldn't want to deal with Demetrius Andrade after that. However, in the state that we're in boxing right now, I have to kind of say, look, how about you guys try to get don't use that excuse for why you don't fight. Now, I say that there is a reason why these guys should maybe want to hold off on their fight a little while, which is could maybe to be get more money after one or the other really break out, like Demetrius Andrade gets a Gennady Golovkin fight, or Jermall Charlo gets a Gennady Golovkin fight, and they get that bump, right? Because really, it's a bit of a lose-lose fight for these guys. It's not. It's a break-even lose fight in this particular scenario, because the money's not going to be really big, because neither one of them, especially Demetrius Andrade, who I like Demetrius Andrade. He goes by Booboo. I like Booboo. But I think that he made an error by signing with Matchroom, because Matchroom has not shown any inclination to really get him any of the big fights, even though they did for a second have all three of the belts, and they were in a position to give Demetrius Andrade the same fight that it now looks like Caleb Plant is going to get with Canelo Alvarez. That is a shot at an undisputed championship. But not only did they not give Demetrius Andrade that, they haven't been able to give Demetrius Andrade even a fight with Gennady Golovkin, and now that Gennady Golovkin still has the belt. I'm not sure how long Gennady Golovkin's going to. I believe Gennady Golovkin is the IBF champion. I don't know how long it's going to be before Gennady Golovkin, fights, or whether he's going to fight either one of these. But Demetrius Andrade really did lose. I think would have done better to sign with the PBC. But if it's going to be an excuse, as you can call it, an excuse for not taking that fight, let that be let it be something like that, but not something that's hanging on from like 5-6 years ago, where it's like, okay, Demetrius Andrade made a mistake. He affected the career of Jermell Charlo, but Jermell Charlo is beyond that now. Jermell Charlo has got 3 belts in that division. Jermell just had a payday. Before that, he had a big payday. He's got multiple paydays, much bigger than I don't even know if he was getting the $250,000 at the time. At a certain point in time, you got to say, look, man, who are we going to fight? And this scenario, Jermall Charlo is looking dead in the face of a guy that's got a championship belt and saying, no, I'm not going to fight him because of something that happened between him and my brother 5-6 years ago. That just, to me, seems like a little bit silly at this point. However, not to say that I don't understand it. I could understand why you'd hold a grudge. But if Jermall Charlo was really trying to get the name recognition, and it's possible to get a unification fight, then why he should just go ahead and get the unification fight. And I don't want to get into brothers' business, but seriously, Jermell Charlo seems to me would be like, yeah, go ahead and earn your money, because it's not like Jermall Charlo's not getting paid. But I don't really think that is really the issue. I really think the issue is that Demetrius Andrade is a lot of risk, and unless they're going to really give him a big reward, then they're going to probably hold off on that fight. But the logical extension of this, or the thing to ask, is what happens if Jermall Charlo has 3 of the belts, right? Say he winds up getting the IBF belt, he gets the WBA belt, he's got the WBC, and Demetrius Andrade's got the WBO. Is he going to refuse to fight for undisputed, right? Or if it's the other way around, and Demetrius Andrade would get all the belts except for the WBC, would Jermall Charlo not want to fight him for undisputed? Because it's some personal thing between him and my brother. I don't know if people really would be willing to hear too much of that. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. I think it's kind of a sad situation all around, because I would love to see the fight, and a lot of people in my comment section would love to see the fight. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.